The Honourable Member for Laventille East, Morvant.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I continue, Mr. Speaker, I would like the government to investigate the recent scandalous exercise pertaining to the promotion of sergeants to inspectors in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I hope there's money allocated for all the sergeants who are now supposed to be inspectors. Mr. Speaker, there appear to have been some irregularities in the recent promotion exercise involving the promotion of sergeants to inspectors. Many sergeants claim that they were bypassed for promotion, and they were concerned about the procedure used to select officers who were promoted. Mr. Speaker, the officers complained that there was a change in the marking system used and they were not informed about this. I was informed that when they took their complaint to the Acting Commissioner of Police, they were told they could take him to court if they want. Mr. Speaker, these words sound very familiar. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Speaker, needs to get a grip on what is happening in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service with regard to promotion. These promotional issues will serve to further demoralize the police officers, because imagine junior sergeants were promoted above senior ones, and they are now strutting around in khaki, while the other sergeants who should have been promoted have to accept that.
Was it merit?
It is both merit and both, yes.
It is merit.
There was a problem with the marking system. They changed the system and they were not informed about it. So, Mr. Speaker, this is indeed unfair to them, and I ask the government to address the situation as soon as possible. I want to quote from Trinidad Express, the 22nd of December, 2012, and the headline is "Promotions Like a Thief in the Night." This is in reference to what I'm speaking about. It reads, and I quote, "It is unacceptable for Acting Police Commissioner Stephen Williams to promote police officers like a thief in the night." President of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social Welfare Association, Sergeant Anand Ramasa said. Ramasa made the statement yesterday in reference to a ceremony on Wednesday when 51 sergeants were promoted to the rank of inspector. Ramasa said the promotion ceremony was done without an order of merit list being provided. End of quote. So, Mr. Speaker, this is something that I feel that the government should be looking at, seeing that there has been money here allocated for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. As a matter of fact, I think it's $660-something million. And I feel that the Minister of Finance may have to be looking for money soon for these sergeants who are supposed to be inspectors. What is the status of the 21st Century Policing Initiative? I haven't heard anything about it since Gibbs was run out of town. The Minister of Finance spoke about this initiative in the 2012 budget statement. So I'm just asking, I would like to get an update on the 21st Century Policing Initiative. What is the status? I move to something concerning prisons, Mr. Speaker. With regards to the prison service, the prison officers are concerned that officials of the Service Commission and Director of Personnel Administration Department are being, well, I can't use the word bully, but rattled by a senior government minister to promote 3 persons to the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Prisons. Mr. Speaker, examinations for this position, the position of Assistant Superintendent of Prison, took place late last year, and the results are not out as yet. The prison officers are asking, why is the senior government minister pushing for promotion in this position to take place now? The merit list for the post of Assistant Superintendent of Prison has expired. New assessments and examination results are due. So, Mr. Speaker, the prison officials said that the 3 officers, one of those 3 officers, Prague, was represented by the Honorable Attorney General in the past, and these officers are Ramuta, Prague, and Lachman. Many prison officials are claiming that the prison service is doomed to suffer because there are some government officials making statements about the prison service. Mr. Speaker, if this information is correct, then I think that the government needs to look at this. Okay, Minister?
Yeah, we look at it.
I expect that the prison service will be given the necessary resources to carry out their duties, and I would like to get an update on the new scanners. I don't know if this was already budgeted for, or if it is here, but I heard us talk about scanners for the prisons, and I'd like to know if this is within this allocation. Under Trinidad and Tobago, Service Head 64, 02000122, short-term employment. I see where this is sought is featured under this heading. And why are sought officers on short-term employment? I'd like the Minister of Finance to tell me why are sought officers on short-term employment? Because, Mr. Speaker, many of these officers are ex-policemen and members of the Defense Force who resigned their jobs and joined SORT, and some of them were made special reserve policemen. Many of the officers are owed money by this government, and they left their jobs and went straight into SORT without taking their leave, and they were promised payment for all their leave. This has not materialized to date. So, Mr. Speaker, many of them are waiting on their ex gratia payments. And these officers were promised the same salary that they were receiving in SORT, as they are now working alongside police officers, and some of them in high-risk areas. My understanding is those who are attached to the gang unit, air operations, and the SSA or SIA have been receiving their same salary, but those who are on the beat with the police are receiving half the salary. Their salaries were cut in half. On top of this, they are not entitled to overtime, as they are special reserve policemen. So, Mr. Speaker, why is the government taking advantage of SORT personnel? Many of them cannot afford to make ends meet because of the cut in their salaries and no overtime. What is the government's beef with SORT? I would like the Minister to explain the government's position on this, because many of these SORT officers have families to take care, and this behavior is indeed heartless. So, Mr. Minister of Finance, I would like to know that the money allocated for SORT, I would like to know what this money is for. But my colleagues spoke about the fire service and spoke about the $6.8 million wreck. Mr. Speaker, I just want to state concerning the fire service, I just would like to know that I will deal with something else first. It is sad that in the year 2013, the Fire Service Association has to pen a letter of complaint with regards to discrimination against women in the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. It is indeed sad. I was informed that the present Acting Chief Fire Officer gave a mandate to a committee to conduct an evaluation exercise analyzing the status of women in the fire service. Mr. Speaker, there is a belief in the fire service that there is an attempt to restrict the future intake of women in the service. Why did the fire service officers not receive their salaries at the end of April? I don't know if it was a problem if the Minister of Finance could tell me why the fire officers did not receive their salaries at the end of April. And the government of Trinidad and Tobago must ensure that our public officials are treated better than that, because I understand there was no explanation or notice given beforehand that their salaries would have been late. The officers of the fire service are still struggling to receive their acting allowances on time. So the government needs to look into the concerns of the firefighters. My colleague from the Morvant Northeast spoke about the vehicle that was wrecked in November the 12th last year, so I wouldn't go into detail about it. But I just would like to say that the government is today seeking to approve additional money in various ministries, and I can understand why, because clearly the public purse is being mismanaged and certain people are riding the backs of hard-working taxpayers. Mr. Speaker, we need an explanation concerning the expenditure related to that fire tanker. How could the Prime Minister be now putting measures in place where this type of expenditure is concerned? This should have been done from day one. They are now attempting to close the stable after the horse has bolted. Why would a water tender, which after 7 years and depreciated at the extent that the present value is around 600,000, be hastily wrecked? Yes, hastily wrecked, Mr. Speaker, because that water tender was purchased in 2006. And I understand that there was a haste and hush-hush behavior surrounding the removal of the water tender, which was hastily removed 2 days later. As the Minister of Finance coming from the banking sector, I am sure that you are aware that the banks don't let go of its money just so. If you want a loan, you have to satisfy certain requirements. Well, what happened now? Taxpayers' money is not a free-for-all, and I just want to urge this government to be careful how they spend taxpayers' money. And Mr. Speaker, we understand that the Chief Fire Officer is preparing a report now. A report went to the Ministry of National Security before. I don't know what is going to be new in this report, but of course, as usual, this government is taking us for fools. The member for W. O'Meara mentioned is either you pay the bill or not when he spoke about the fire tender, because of course he was not paying attention to the process involved. The people of Trinidad and Tobago need a full explanation and breakdown of costs, the process involved from beginning to end, Mr. Speaker. And why is it hidden in the Shogunas fire station? Why was the offer to wreck the vehicle for free rejected? And Mr. Speaker, everyone, like Shaggy, now singing the tune, "It wasn't me." The Chief Fire Officer said he is on vacation, he is on retirement leave. The Acting Chief Fire Officer said he was on vacation. The Permanent Secretary said she is not authorized to approve spending over $1 million. The then Minister of National Security said, "Don't blame me. It was a cabinet decision." The present Minister of National Security, well, I don't know what he said. The Prime Minister said that is a fiasco, and she's awaiting a report as usual. So, Mr. Speaker, we anxiously await an explanation with regards to this irresponsible and scandalous behavior of this cabinet with regards to this expenditure, which fire officials are saying could even be more than the $6.8 million quoted. I understand that documents have been threaded since this news broke in the fire service.